Hey, boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of the Ron Bass Show, your source for upcoming artists and their
music.
Yay!
Yay!
Speaking of music, look who's here tonight, Mr. Mathew Krumm, an artist at Soar High Records.
Good to be here.
Thank you, sir. And our executive producer, of course, Mr. Davo.
Davo ran away.
Davo ran away.
Davo got ran over by a reindeer.
So before we get into the music, let me just throw out a little bit of pop culture here. So I was watching an interview, Billie Eilish interview.
Okay.
And I didn't know this about her, but I thought it was really interesting, and it's good, a good message as well. But she was, I guess it was her and her brother, right? So they were doing music.
Phineas is his name.
Huh?
Phineas is his name.
Oh, you know his name. Okay, you know more about her than I do then. So at 13, I guess they wrote this song. Mm-hmm. She's 13, and she was a dancer too. I didn't know that. Did a lot of dance. So they wrote this song. Bottom line is they said, "Oh, well, let's just see what happens. Let's upload it on SoundCloud." And they did. And she said they got 1,000 views, and she was like freaking out. She's 13 years old, freaking out. But the next part of the story was really, she said, that was my moment. I was so excited. I'll probably never have anything else ever happen again, but this is so cool. I'm going to relish this moment. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of skipped over to the next statement, which was like, and about a week later, it was on the radio. Now, I don't know how it got on the radio. My dad and I have had these conversations before. It seems to me that a lot of music that's uploaded on the socials or on Spotify or wherever wind up going on the radio because apparently the program directors at these, because they all have a program director, picks out a certain song and puts it on the radio. There's probably other ways that happens, but and I don't know how it happened with her, but once it got on the radio, it got national exposure, the rest was history. And she made a comment, something like, I probably wouldn't be here today if it had not been for that song. Mm-hmm. And I think to myself, how, luck of the draw sometimes on just about anything in life. Not that if you didn't work hard and eventually, you probably wind up getting somewhere up the line, but sometimes there's just magic that happens. Sometimes you can't really figure out why it happens. Post Malone, I remember a story about him, was something kind of like that happened. He posted and got online and the record company called him and put the money behind him and the rest was history there too. But I just enjoy stories like that because it's almost like people can't, once these things happen, it's like everybody's in awe. Like, how did that happen? How could that happen? So, Mathew and I were talking earlier about, having the talent is a lot of it, but really the other half of the story is the marketing side of it. You got to get the music out there either on television or on the radio or on the internet or in live performances. So you only got 4 different ways to get to the market. So, that's what we got to think about all day long when we're promoting the artist, when we're promoting the label. So anyway, just throwing that out there. All right, so Mr. Mathew Krumm, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you wound up as an artist with Soar High Records, and what's your background and where you're at now and where you want to go.
So I actually found Soar High because of an old high school buddy of mine. Am I allowed to say his name? Yeah. David Glassburner. I saw his name associated with Soar High a few times, and I didn't know how that happened. I didn't know if he was part of a podcast or a music group. I had no idea. So I ended up finding a number on Facebook for that. Followed it up probably a few days later. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Gave you a call and found out that you were in the middle of a Taekwondo class when that happened.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. That's what it is.
Taekwondo.
The details are there, but they're not going to
Martial arts, anyway.
Yeah. So after that, I got called in to do an audition August 11th.
Wow.
And the only reason why that date sticks out in my head is because that was the same day that my fiance's birthday was. So she was, yes.
Wow.
That was August 11th. And there was a handful of us here. I was, I think, the second or third one to go.
If you would have told me that was October, I would have believed you.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like it was that long either.
No, it doesn't.
That's the crazy part is that so much time has flown by since this has all happened, and I still remember it to the day.
4 months? Oh, almost 4 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Continue. I'm sorry.
So I did the audition, and the part that blew me away a little bit, and I don't boast, I don't brag about anything, but I was the only one that I think had one song after the other doing an audition because people wanted to hear different sides of what I had. And I was the only one that had that big of an applause out of the people that were there. Every artist that was there that night had amazing talent. There was the one girl who got on Spotify. Phenomenal singer. Yes. Phenomenal singer. I haven't heard of natural talent like that in a long time.
She's got a great voice.
She's very good at what she does.
Speaking of, I need to upload her song, Mental Reminder. Sorry, cool. Go ahead.
So after that, then we had a show in November, and in between all of that, I just come in whenever I could.
Yeah.
And the story behind that is I drive truck over the road.
Which makes the story even spicier, more interesting.
So I've been wanting to drive since I was, knee-high to a grasshopper. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. During that time, before I got my CDL, I was, I think, 19 or 20, somewhere in there. I was in Job Corps and people started really getting me into rap. I knew a little bit about it, but not a whole lot.
That's interesting.
And I had messed around with it a few times, trying to write stuff, and I just couldn't think of anything. So when I first learned what freestyle was, I felt like an idiot, because freestyle is coming up with your own stuff on the spot.
On the spot, yeah.
People are very good at that.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I had learned Childish Gambino's 3005. And if I knew the beat would match the lyrics, I would just rap those over top of it.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it wasn't until afterwards that I was told that's not freestyle.
That's not freestyle, that's funny.
So then I started seriously writing, and I would just keep on going and going and going as much as I could.
And you say you used to rap a lot while you're driving the truck?
Yes. As often as I could, I would.
Isn't that where you get a lot of practice?
That's where I get a lot of the freestyle practice from. And if I find something that I like, I'll have, this is part of the reason why I have two phones. One of them is to play the music, any instrumental that I can find on there, and I'll just have that playing go down the road.
Okay.
The other one will record what I'm saying, and if I like a line, it'll stay in that recording, and then I can pull that and write it down later.
Cool.
Find a song that works for it. So,
it's a great story.
But I try to come into the studio as often as I can. The part that makes that tricky is they want me to stick to a schedule. Most drivers stay out between 18 to 21 days at a time.
Okay.
I kind of in between there right now. They don't really care for it, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah. Well, you're a good employee, so they don't want to lose you. They're gonna bend a little bit.
They try not to, but I've not had a problem with my dispatcher. Yeah, never had a problem with my dispatcher. She usually will go to her boss and say, hey, he's had this time off requested for 2 weeks. This is what he's going to get. And
well, it's always cool when you come to the studio, since you don't live in town and you're on the road a lot. And I think that's a really great story. And as you become more successful, it's going to be a really good story. It's going to make for really good reading.
Yeah,
I agree.
Really good listening.
I agree. Sorry, I'm over here wearing very many hats. I'm currently trying to adjust things on the fly.
You is.
You want to hear a song from
Yeah,
Krumm?
let's hear Mr. Matthew's, one of his songs.
Was Beginning to the End, was it the first one that we made together?
That was the very first one. Because we did the soft opening with a diss track that will be coming out soon. That we actually just recorded the other day.
Yes, we did. We did.
That was kind of an on-the-spot decision. He was in the middle of a project. I was not ready for anything to happen. I was just like, hey, what do you got going on? He said, well, normally I do scheduling, but you didn't know this yet. And we just recorded it right then and there. This one that we're about to record is actually spun off of another artist that I'm a huge fan of, Easy Mill. If you don't know who that is, go check him out. He's got bars. Bars for bars for bars.
Here is Beginning of the End by Krumm. If it'll play. There it is.
My shit just hit different. I bodied the back the business. Got no one to tell my story, for I am the only witness. Nah. We gotta turn that up to like a 10. Let's go! My shit just hit different. I bodied the back the business. Got no one to tell my story, for I am the only witness. Telling these hoes to zip it and listen to what they missing. The mission, I'm here to kill it. Murderous words scripted, but certain cause our hearts lifted. I'm worse than a jerk big kid. I'm dissing who's on my shit list. They wishing I never did it. I'm waiting for them to listen, respond with what they feeling. Have these motherfuckers asking how I showed up with this shit. 10 years to study, 5 years of writing. One shot to get it right, constantly fucking fighting to get the recognition I know that I deserve. That's dictionary form, play baffling all these nerds. I'm sick of the fucking silence. I'm sitting in this asylum. My cranium geranium, it's aiming for all the violence. These people believe real quiet since I've been calling them out. When you lurking, you get hurt, I'll be laughing about it. Like an uneasy feeling, like something lurking up on you. But I don't pray for the predators, you can stop all the stalking. I got the business online, I did it all by myself. You started asking them questions like, do I need any help? But you not in it for rap, I noticed you acted funny. I knew that something had happened whenever you asked for money. But funny karma can step in and ruin all of your plans. I understand that you're mad, but I drew a line in the sand. I'm throwing shade like I'm 45, driving tall on my semi. 13.6 in this bitch, like my steering, I aim high. I look ahead to the future, you fucking stuck in the present. I'll have you down on your knees, you fucking suck at this peasant. Unpleasant sounds coming straight out of your mouth. I'm going south for the winter to melt my cold heart down. Gotta learn to stay quiet so I don't get too loud. Cause I'm a cold-hearted Bogart, I got my head in the clouds. I used to care it was given, but I gave that shit up. Now I'm cracked with the middle finger, I don't give a fuck. Got a list full of people to give a shout out to diss. Write a whole fucking song about any one of you pricks. Starting with that little bitch who claimed that she was so misunderstood by all the people she surrounded herself with. But if I would've listened a little closer, I would've understood the assignment. She used herself to her advantage, I wasn't immune to her incitement. Or how about maybe some people that I am closely related to? Everything that they say is so obviously debatable. Done playing these games, done fucking with lames, done fighting for people who won't even say my name. Better stay out my lane, I'm no longer the same. Tried to take me down, but now you wanna pray. Moral of the story, your life is pretty boring. Wanna place your bets, better keep your ass in check, bitch.
Man, that was really good.
I think two of my favorite lines out of that. The one that I wrote, it says, I used to care and was given, but I gave that shit up. Now I'm Craig with the middle finger. I don't give a fuck. If anybody is a South Park fan, they know that Craig, every chance he gets, he will throw that middle finger up. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit for anybody.
Right.
And then the other one was I'm throwing shade like I'm 45, driving tall in my semi. That one was probably my other favorite line because the day that I said that, Davo lost his mind. Because that was the funniest shit.
Throwing shade like I'm 45 and so Sirius XM, Slim Shady Eminem has his own radio station. It's Shade 45 on Sirius XM. So throwing shade like I'm 45, like that's I didn't expect him to say it. I was like, funny. I like that. That was cool. That was cool. And then driving tall on my son, like that's just cool.
And
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and everything that I write and every song that I do is a legitimate real life situation that's happened at one point in time or another. I used to care, was given. I used to give a shit about people. At one point, I was homeless. I had a lot of people help me out. And every one of those people that I helped out in return screwed me over one way or another. Yeah. And they're going to find out about it on this album that's coming up that I'm working on.
Well, you know what they say? Success is revenge.
Yep.
Just real quick thought I had something go through my head about Eminem. I was watching him interview this years ago before he was super well known. And Stephen Colbert was interviewing him before he was like famous.
That's a name I heard.
And it was an interesting interview because Colbert was like quizzing him about how he could make a living, and he didn't know who he was. And Eminem was like trying to, but he was like kind of taken back by it. Like he said, "You don't know who I am." And no, I don't know who you are. And
I know what you're talking about. So it's a skit. It's a skit. It was a skit.
Oh, it was a skit?
Yes, it was a skit. It was a skit.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was in 96.
I thought it was like a real deal.
It was really early in their careers. Like, really early.
You know what I hate about that? I was born in 96.
I was born in 97. So I feel that.
Wait, I'm older than you?
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Anyway, so much for that story.
I know. That's fun, though. That's fun.
There's a few of the skits that Eminem does that are really funny. The Brisk commercial from a few years ago.
Yeah.
That one was hysterical.
There's one that it was a sports game or like the VMAs or something, and he gets on there and he pretends to be high as hell. He's just like.
A lot of Eminem's success, if you really study him and you go back, was humor.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of
he's a comedian.
A lot of people don't, but he wasn't originally.
He was. In raps, he was funny.
Like, I'm talking about way before he became.
Oh, yeah.
He actually did. I read an article. The first album he did was did nothing. It went flat.
Yeah.
So it just goes to prove that, you just have to wait your turn.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that means.
Oh yeah.
But he figured out. But humor sells.
I agree.
He just does. I mean, he was a serious guy. Well, he wasn't into that trip. I don't know how that came about, to be honest, but it was a brilliant move on somebody's part.
Yeah, he's super serious in certain parts. Like, that's the thing that makes his comedy even funnier, is that He's very, very serious, like in songs,
In the interview.
and in interviews, he's very serious as well.
Oh no, the movie interview. Whenever he said something about he was gay.
Yep,
People lost their mind.
Yep. Because he's got this persona. So then when he says something that's like even remotely funny, even with a straight face, you gotta crack up. He's just funny. I don't know.
Top 10 advice.
Have you ever
heard?
here's the thing about Eminem. Here's another thing about Eminem I love. He keeps reinventing himself. Speaking of artists, think about. I mean, this is you guys are probably not in this league, but Cher and she's 77. She still keeps reinventing herself. She was in the Macy's parade the other day and got a lot of press for that. And then there's Dolly Parton, halftime of the Dallas Cowboys at 77. Doing the halftime show, so these people
keel over and die on the stage.
But no, she was. I mean,
no, I know.
What I'm getting at is that these artists keep reinventing themselves.
Right.
Madonna's the same way at 65. So there's no age limit if you're willing to, keep out there and keep doing it and believe in yourself.
Yeah, and I agree. And
maybe not in the rap world, but I'm saying in the music world, that's becoming more and more common now.
And there's so many different ways to do that too. I was watching a video.
I have a lot of respect for those people for being able to stay in the game and keep reinventing themselves.
Yeah, I was watching a video on how she trains for some of the stuff that she does. She does a lot of those like Pink.
Oh yeah, Pink. She's brave.
She does a lot of those stuff where she's like in the air, flying around.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff
great.
like that.
Yeah,
how she trains for that? She literally has somebody stand on her stomach. And she will sing her song and match the pitch to it.
I got you. Yeah, she
is insane when it comes to that stuff. And it shows for me what that shows is that it doesn't matter what point you're at in your career. There's always new ways to do things, and if you're willing to train hard for it, you will make it far.
She's another one that does humor.
She's very good at humor. Very good at humor.
And her early beginnings were pretty crazy too. She was part of a female group. I feel the story. So the producer said, "Hey," the record label said, "No, you got to break out. We're not going to hire the group. It's going to be you." And she had to go through this real difficult period to accept that or not accept that. And I guess she did accept it.
She did.
But I don't remember what happened to the other two girls.
I think she's talked about it before, and she kind of hated that.
She hated it. Yeah. But I wonder what happened to those other two girls.
I don't know.
Hopefully something good, or hopefully she did something good for them.
I bet she hired them.
Look at Beyonce. The same thing.
Her sisters. Those are her sisters and cousins. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, but they're still, but she comes back and does stuff with them, and they're famous on their own now because of her. So they're doing okay.
Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, another great example.
Yeah, another example. Justin Timberlake, yes. Which Simon Cowell found that group.
Oh,
no,
excuse me.
No, he did not.
He did not. Harry Styles, excuse me.
One Direction.
One Direction.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to say he did not find NSYNC. I'm sorry.
That was
it was.
I'll tell you
for a second.
That group.
It was Fatone and Timberlake. I'm pretty sure.
But the guy that used to manage that group, I think, was a crook. And it was a big long story about that. I think that was the group. But at any rate, boy bands.
Yeah,
and there was this one producer that was raping them of the money, screwing them around, and there was a big production, and this guy finally went to prison, I think, over the whole deal. I think that was the group that Timberlake was. I may be wrong, but anyway, I'll shut up.
It's okay.
Once you start talking about these stories, there's just so much.
I just don't want.
There's a lot of rumors that go around too. Like I remember whenever the whole thing with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, whenever they finally broke up and did their own thing, it was all because of this. It was because of that. Most of that wasn't true. It was just it was a fellowship that ended up splitting off their separate ways. There was no beef, no hard feelings.
How about the Beatles? I saw Paul McCartney the other night perform. He's 85, I think, singing. I saw her standing there, which was a big hit in the 60s. I saw that on the Ed Sullivan Show. It's crazy, years ago, but his daughter was singing to his daughter who had a birthday. And he was doing it as a solo. There was a band behind him, but it was like at a receptionist or somewhere, and he just took off his jacket and started singing. It was a small venue. Back to what we talked about, but Evan and I have agreed that we think a small venue has so many benefits.
It has such
so intimate,
a homey feel. Intimate's a good word. Like some people feel uncomfortable with that word, but to have an intimate feeling with a building or a venue or a crowd,
you can touch the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing like that.
Wrong.
Instead of playing in front of a stadium, now don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to play in a stadium. But at the same time,
that's a whole different feeling.
When I speak, like a podcast like this is more exciting to me than if I were speaking in front of thousands of people.
Right.
Because it's intimate. There's there's a relationship here being developed.
I agree.
We can play off of each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't do that when you've got a huge. But if you notice how the artists, they always work. They always work with whoever's close by.
Mm-hmm.
Touching, feeling,
or
and showing.
Looking
yes.
at, like Drake, he does a very good job about catching people that aren't right there on the front row, and he'll see you looking at him, and he'll like point you out.
The Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, where Taylor Swift was found, where she was found. She came back a few years ago and did a session in there, and that place is like a hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. But that's where she was found. It's a big deal for songwriters, and she went in there, and people were freaked out.
Oh yeah,
because it was a small setting, but she did it out of respect to the owners of the club and out of respect to. I'm not sure how it all came about, but she was, her ego's in check,
right?
And I respect that.
And I think going back to your roots is a big part of that too.
Good point.
So if you're known in a certain area, you're doing all these big things, and you just kind of blow them off. It's one thing if you're like Eminem and you dealt with a lot of the hard shit that you dealt with.
Right.
Understandably, blow off everybody in your fucking path. Now he's forgiven most of those people.
That's what I've read.
And he's even admitted to some of the mistakes.
That's what I've read.
But in his sense, I can understand where he's coming from in that. But if you're a small town country girl, you just want to make it big in the big city, and then you come back to those roots after you've made it big, I don't see anything wrong with that. Steve Harvey did the same thing.
Steve Harvey did the same thing, yeah. I follow that guy too. He's something else.
Yeah.
He's funny. We're at 22 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and play another song.
Cool.
This song is a fan favorite of Mr. Ron here. It's called Green, in quotation marks, Bigger Than Me by myself.
I love this song.
AK and ARJ.
I love this song.
Yeah, it's bigger than me. I done popped out with the team, Track Hog, Slime Green.
This shit bigger than we. Thought he sliding with the team, but we on different teams. Run that money machine. All I see is green. She said, why your facial mean? This the easy beat.
She asked me what's up in my drink, I told her Listerine. Cause I'm so fresh, so clean, there's so many mini-me's. We hop out minivans, catch a white boy like across the street, we give him mini tens.
12 was asking questions, we know nothing, we not detectives.
I'ma hit your bitch, she bad as fuck, Alexis, Texas. Knock a nigga off, we good, I'm gonna get that message.
Stacking all these ones, got hella bricks just like it's Tetris. I ain't move along, got all my game, you know we steppin'.
Never been a cop, but it's an M&P, Smith & Wesson. Pull up on a block, 40 pop, that's a heavy lesson. This a rolling, no TikTok, but all my diamonds dancing.
Shooting at his feet, we got him moving, now that nigga pressing. It's like GTA, I got expansions on this fucking mansion.
Might call me a blue AP, I'm dripping like I'm from Atlantis. Desert Eagle, hole up in his chest, I think I blew the candy.
I just fucked your bitch, forgot her name, and I ain't even planned it. Got all of this green, and I'm so big, I feel like Planet Namek. Yeah, it's bigger than me. I done popped out with the team, Track Hawk, Slime Green.
This shit bigger than we. Thought he sliding with the team, but we on different teams. Run that money machine. All I see is green. She said, why your facial mean? This the easy beat.
She asked me what's up in my drink, I told her Listerine. Cause I'm so fresh, so clean, there's so many mini-me's.
Man, I love that song. That song
Great
is fun.
song.
Okay, I didn't know that you were on that song. But what's
Yeah.
funny is the other night, this song was playing before we did the show.
Mm-hmm,
I actually searched it on Shazam because I wanted to save that song.
Ah, we have ARJ in the studio as well. We'll talk about that after. But we have ARJ in the studio as well. When you saw me look over there, we're down to 23 minutes, Ronnie. So we may only have time for 2 songs that we
That's cool, man.
did. But
You be the producer, I'll be the.
you're the voice and the pretty face, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm Easy D. Thank you, Krumm,
Yep,
for
glad to
coming
be here.
through and having a good night with us and being on this episode. We always appreciate it. I'm excited to make some songs and some.
I can't wait for
And I
this
appreciate
album.
all the fans out there watching our podcast.
Of
man.
course, yes. Thank you
And sharing
so much.
it. We appreciate that.
Thank you
very
so much, because
We want to share the love to everybody.
yeah, Ron's been giving me feedback about people leaving comments. Leave a comment down below to
Yeah.
let us know what you think. Like, we really appreciate any feedback, positive, negative, anything. We always appreciate it. So I'm Easy D for Krumm and Mr. Ron Bass. Everybody have a good night, and always remember, music is the medicine.